Okay, doc. Like I said, I've got to get cured. I'm not going to take antacids if they're not going to cure me. The pee still smells. If you need to send me to a specialist, then please do. If you need to check me into the hospital because I've got Medicare Part A, do that. Whatever the case may be. We can talk to psychiatrists at the hospital as to why I don't have my Part B. We can get this all checked out. Whatever the case may be. Or better yet, have charity care pay for it through the Department of Public Health since they screwed me. But I need a prescription. I need something before I walk out today that's going to help me. I'm not going to go another 3 weeks in bed 16 hours a day, still feeling like crap, not able to, having problems peeing, throwing up, and you offer me an antacid. That's unacceptable. I need medication that's going to work. This hasn't. So I can't be in bed sick with false hope that I'm going to get any help from you if you're just going to be offering me stuff that's not going to help.
So I need to ask you, and you need to let me know. I want to run through a kind of complicated explanation, but I need you to not interrupt me if I'm doing that. Is that going to be possible?
Well, how long?
I don't know, 2 minutes probably.
Okay, I'll shut up for 2 minutes.
So what I'm suggesting is that you've got two problems. One is a gastrointestinal problem. The other is a urinary system problem. For the gastrointestinal problem, I'd like a trial, suggest a trial of 2 weeks of an antacid medicine. If that's not working, I'm actually very concerned because you mentioned that you'd had an ultrasound before that showed gallstones.
A gallstone, one.
I'm concerned that the symptoms you're having could be related to your gallbladder and gallstones. And if they weren't getting better with an antacid, the next steps would be an ultrasound and possibly a consultation with a surgeon if you still had a gallstone that could have been causing these symptoms.
And how is this going to be paid for?
Let's come to that in a
All right,
moment.
I'm sorry.
Second problem is your urinary problems. Based on what I have been able to hear so far, your problems are related to a inflammation or pain in the prostate. It's a very complicated issue and not an issue that is likely to have a cure. I'm being honest with you because I've reviewed the medical literature on this. In the best of circumstances, 20 or 30% of people will get, who actually have bacteria in their prostate, will get resolved with 6 to 12 weeks of the right antibiotics. Those antibiotics have certain kinds of side effects. To actually get to the diagnosis of, is this bacteria in your prostate? Is it just inflammation in your prostate? Is it just pain in your prostate? That requires a urologist to do a finger exam, digital rectal exam, to do massage of your prostate, to collect specimens of the fluid that's expressed, as well as the urine, and then an intelligent approach can be made to that as to what kind of treatment you would get. I know that's not what you want to hear. If you had treatment in Mexico that seemed to be very effective, I would very much like to know what that was so that we could try it again. That's not something that I know what that is yet. If you've got any record of that, that would be very helpful. Finally, to answer your question, how is it going to be paid for? Again, my recommendation is best insurance in the country is Medicare Part B.
You mean, go ahead please, I'm not going to interrupt.
That's insurance that you can bring to virtually any hospital, virtually any doctor in the country. Means that you've got a lot of choice. I hear you have a lot of anger with San Francisco General Hospital. I'm confused why you continue to want to get services at San Francisco General Hospital when you have that level of anger. But I also understand that it has to do with the need, I'll say need, that you have for that sense of justice and to the other people who need to use that system.
And also prepaid care services. Medicare was deducted from my paycheck all my working life. These are prepaid services that I've been denied. And accountability. So, yes. I don't mean to interrupt. Please continue.
So my recommendation is certainly, if you need this specialty care, you need labs, these are things that I'll recommend for you. I don't think that I can do them without you having the Medicare back in activity. Once you do, then you've got a lot of options for.
I'll be happy to go back to Medicare as soon as they confess, as soon as they, acknowledge that they did the wrong thing and told me, that I was wrong and they were wrong. As soon as they confessed to their quality management group in Washington, D.C. was ineffectual, I'd be happy to go back to the priest that molested me under those conditions. Any condition other than that, I'm going to, say I'm under duress and protest because, how's it going to fix their mistakes? Simply by having me go back and say, no harm, no foul, no pain, no shame. Well, no, that's not true. There was plenty of pain, there was plenty of shame, there was plenty of fouls, there was plenty of harm. So, short of that, since I don't have that, then like I said, the county, since the county is responsible for all this, by denying me emergency services, which I have a signed confession for, by screwing with me with my adjustment disorder and throwing more disorder and still not coming clean, then the county can pick up those charges, considering I've already paid in for all this in my life. It's not my problem. It's your guys' problem. I've done nothing wrong. I will not be re-victimized. Unless, of course, I can get them to confess that they did the wrong thing and, show contrition, restitution, remedy, any civility of hope. But you've just admitted in the prior video that we lived in a fucked up world. Well, doctor, I already know that. And sending me back to the people who are fucked up really isn't an option for somebody with an adjustment disorder who is dead right.
I'd like to figure out in what way it could be an option for you. Because honestly,
I just told you.
I don't see. I don't see
Having them being accountable. I've got all the proof here. I'd gladly go back to them as soon as they were accountable, fix the errors of their ways, so that I would know that it's fixed not only for me, but for everybody. Short of that, they're just going to do it again. They didn't have to account the first time. Just like the Department of Public Health still hasn't accounted for the denial of emergency services in 2001 that they signed the confession for in 2007 that I gave you. The Department of Public Health here in San Francisco still hasn't explained to me that.
What would, let me ask you, because I read your forms.
Oh, you did? So did you understand the English language about them admitting fault and guilt for having broken federal law?
What would them accounting for it look like to you?
Well, let's see. What did they do when they had to account to the Office of Inspector General? They had to pay for their damages. Nobody's broached me and told me that they've, A, broken the law, much less offered restitution, humanity, contrition, any of those.
So you want them to pay you for it?
Well, was I damaged or not by their illegalities? You want me to pay for my health care, don't you?
I'm sorry?
You want me to pay for my health care, don't you? You want this health care to be paid for, whether it's through Medicare or somebody else, because your attitude is, it has to be paid for. Well, shouldn't the illegalities that happened to me have to be paid for too?
I'll be honest. What it sounds like to me,
yes, please,
is you saying, I want to be paid for it.
Of course, just like you told me that, these people need to be paid for what they're doing, their services, and that's why I have to get back on Medicare. What is the difference? Those people that, that I'll be seeing, the doctors who will be paid through Medicare and everything, deserve to be paid, but I don't deserve to be paid for all the illegalities in the medical field that happened to me? I want to understand the difference.
I just want to understand what that...
So do I. You keep telling me that, sign up for Medicare because that'll pay for these things. Well, and I keep telling you I don't want to sign up with Medicare because they've screwed me and they've never come clean. What would it take for me to go back to Medicare? Well, maybe them paying me for all their damages also. you know, you're saying that people have got to get paid. That's why I should sign up for Medicare. Well, in that case, am I not a person who should be paid for their illegalities? You do understand now. Thank you. You know, that's the whole point. You know, that's the whole point. You know, if you want me to be a responsible person who, you know, has to be concerned about other people being paid, even though these are prepaid services that I paid in for all my life that I've been denied, then I want accountability, and I want to be paid for all my harm and damages by the people who didn't do the services, non-performance, and everything else in addition, and hold them accountable so that we can fix it for everyone, which is what it should have been right in the first place.
So as far as your health care goes...
Hold on, please.